Greetings and welcome, everyone. We are so excited to have this Canva session for you. It is on Canva and AI, and we have the fantabulous Lis Bostwick, who's a Canva educator extraordinaire, here to share with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Lis.
Well, thank you so much, Melissa. It's wonderful to join you and Tommy on behalf of Atlanta Public Schools. And as always, it's just a pleasure to work with you all. So let's dive into Winter Wonders, Unleashing Canva's Magic AI. Oh, you guys are in for a treat because there are so many things that you can do within Canva. So just to introduce myself a bit, I'm Lis Bostwick, as Melissa mentioned. I am a Canva learning consultant, and I've been in education for over 20 years, teaching in the classroom, and then also working as a tech integration specialist. I'm also the author of Take the Leap, Ignite a Culture of Innovation, which is all about how we can transform learning experiences by deepening engagement and empowering our students. And of course, Canva for Education really is that perfect ed tech tool that combines beautifully with the work that I do within my book. You can connect with me on social media. I love to learn alongside and from other educators, so I always like to see what other people are sharing and, of course, highlight the work that you do too. Within this session, you can feel free to join us in the YouTube chat. So we are live on YouTube. You are welcome to join in there with how familiar you are with Canva Magic Write. We're going to hit on all of the Canva Magic AI tools today. So I'm really excited to showcase some of the amazing creations that you can do for the holiday season and showcase that. And of course, hear from you guys. So feel free to just share how familiar you are with Magic Write. We're going to demonstrate some of that, and we're going to demo it in a way that connects with the holiday season. So you can see our agenda here. We're going to be hitting on everything from what is Canva all the way to how you can join our community and receive great resources. For anybody who is new to Canva, we do want you to know that Canva for Education is an all-in-one visual communications platform. What that means is that you have templates at your fingertips that you can create and customize however you'd like. There are over 80,000 education templates and over 610,000 templates that are not education related, but you still have access to remix and customize however you'd like. And of course, students too. And I think that's the beautiful piece. The cool thing about Canva for Education too is that it is available across your entire district. So your transportation department, food services, communications, you name it, you can utilize Canva for Education. Within Canva, you do gain access to the complete visual suite of products. So notice here that we do have all of the products from Canva Docs to Canva Whiteboards, Canva Presentations, which are one of my favorites. You can use them for, of course, presenting just like I am, but you can also use them for choice boards and anything you imagine. You can also have access to social media, video, print products, websites, and more. This is a visual suite for everyone in your school. Now, Atlanta, who I'm with today, Atlanta has already onboarded with Canva for Education, and so they know that Canva for Education is free for all educators and students. Your district is completely rostered with the SSO, so you guys have complete access. So if anybody happens to be joining us who is not a part of Atlanta Public Schools, we do have some information at the end on how you can acquire Canva for Education for your district. But yes, it is free, and I get it. As educators, sometimes we're wondering, why is that? Well, at Canva, our motto is to be a force for good. We do believe that education is a human right, and it's pivotal to ensure that all students have access to high-quality tools. And at Canva, we really want to empower the world to create, collaborate, and communicate in the classroom and beyond. We also know that the skills our students learn in Canva transcend the K-12 landscape. So it's so crucial that we're fostering these timeless and essential skills, is what I like to call them, that we're fostering these essential skills, not just for today in the classroom, but also for tomorrow, and of course, our students' future. So let's dive into Magic Write and how you can leverage it in your classroom or in your role. So I'm going to hit on a couple things, and then I will hit escape, and we're going to just go right into a demo too. A lot of this session will be more so a demo, but before we do, we're just going to dive into what Canva Magic Write is, so you have a good idea. So a lot of us have been hearing about AI, right? Like, we're aware that AI is around, but a lot of people are unaware that Canva has Magic Write or AI embedded in it. And of course, the beauty of Canva is that Canva does work with your district to sign privacy agreements and ensure that everything is covered so that you know your staff and your students are safe. And when I mentioned earlier that Canva is free, the one thing that wasn't mentioned is the fact that Canva is able to make it free because they do charge larger businesses. So from Zoom and Peloton, we have large clients who are purchasing Canva, which allows us to make it free for educators and students. So here, when we're talking about Magic Write, it is an AI-powered teaching assistant. Everything Canva does always has privacy and safety in mind first and foremost. So you know that when you're leveraging these tools, you're really using them in a way that is high quality and safe for your students. So Magic Write is available to help you draft lesson plans, assist with grading, and more.
Are you ready?
And we're going to hear here from Belle, and she's going to share a little bit more on Canva. So let's tune in here.
Are you ready to try your very own AI-powered teaching assistant in Canva? Magic Write is available for teachers and teaching staff in Canva for Education right now. Let's try it out. I want some lesson ideas for a 5th grade math class that will be relevant and fun for students who love basketball. Wow, they're going to love it.
Now, I need to make some lesson content for my 7th grade science students. How about a presentation about precipitation? What a time saver!
How about a brainstorm, though? Let's spark some creativity in our art history class. Nice!
Create easy, medium and hard activities to teach 2nd graders about the solar system.
Give me 10 story starter ideas for a grade 12 English class.
Adapt this text so my 3rd graders can understand it.
Create 3 math problems for grade 8 geometry students.
Design a low budget science activity for 6th graders.
Whoa! The possibilities are endless. Try Magic Write in Canva for Education today.
All right, if you saw something that stood out to you, feel free to share that. We love hearing from educators and what made you say, aha. So we always have those aha moments, just like students. The good news is that Magic Write is available across all products. So some people were thinking, hey, maybe it's only available in Docs. It's available in all products within the Visual Suite in Canva. So you can leverage the power of Magic Write even within social media content, presentations, whiteboards, and more. Actually, I use it quite a bit within the whiteboards. It's great if you're looking to create depth of knowledge questions or anything like that so that you can then move those questions on a digital whiteboard and then engage your students. So feel free to also share if you have any ideas on what the benefits of using Magic Write might be. You can feel free to add that to the chat too, and you might already be thinking of some of the benefits of using Magic Write right in your classroom or within your role. So I'm going to go ahead and share that some of the benefits include personalizing learning, getting your time back. Of course, we can always look at how do we take a lesson and make it more engaging or fun, and also ensure everything is safe. And so the good news is that with Canva for Education, you can upload anything that you already have and renovate your materials by whether you want to change up any of the elements on it, meaning pictures or graphics or videos, or perhaps you want to use Magic Write to make it more personalized to your students. The possibilities are limitless. I really appreciate this quote here. We all know that technology is here to stay. I once had a teacher back in my 2nd grade who said to me, Liz, you're not going to have a calculator in the back pocket everywhere you go someday. You need to be able to do math quickly off the top of your head. Now, I don't disagree that I needed all my foundational skills in math. It is essential. However, here I am today walking around with my iPhone. I do have a calculator right in my pocket. So when we're looking at technology, it's important to be thinking about how are we leveraging it? And as this quote says, technology is never good or bad. It's really about how do we utilize it as educators. And really, technology in the hands of amazing teachers can be transformational. I'm sure some of you have experienced that. So let's dive into Magic Write and what that looks like. So today, we have 3 rules that we're going to really dive into. And those include starting with a prompt. We can look at how we can refine and edit. And ultimately, we want to achieve our goals. So when it comes to writing within AI, you can always start with a prompt. And in my experience, my first response that I get from AI isn't always my best. Sometimes once I put my prompt in, I'll realize like, oh, the AI didn't fully understand me, or maybe Liz wasn't as specific as she should have been or as detailed. So then I learn, hey, I'm going to add some more details. That's that refining and edit. So really, every time I generate by going back and prompting AI to tell me something a little bit different, maybe I'm going to be more specific, and I'll give you some actual examples as we get in here, but that's how I get to my best responses. So as you can see here, you can always hit / and it'll bring up Magic Write. And right here, we're going to generate a lesson plan, and there it is. Now, as you know, anytime we generate something with AI, it doesn't mean that that's what we want to take and necessarily use. We need to put our own eyes on it, put on our own thought processes on like, what do our students need? What is our own content? What is our curriculum? What are all the pedagogical skill sets that we know we need to leverage as educators? And then we can refine. So I love here within Canva, you can edit using Magic Write. You can always expand the text and even summarize. So this is amazing that you can continue adding in. And so you can see how easy it is to just begin editing and even have Magic Write do some rewriting for you. And of course, then you can go right ahead and achieve those goals. So you could really skip your drafting process. You can publish more often and spend less time on getting started and more time optimizing your classroom. I did talk to some educators maybe about 2 weeks ago. I was at the Nice Cake conference up in New York, and they were explaining to me that they were having some students utilize Magic Write, and they were saying that for some of their reluctant writers who would perhaps only generate a couple of sentences or a very short paragraph, they were explaining that when the student could utilize AI, such as Magic Write, to be able to create an outline or a draft, suddenly they were writing multiple pages and they were really getting into the writing process. That's powerful. Now, typically Magic Write, in my experience, is on and available to educators only within a district. So most often right now, as we are learning about AI and as educators becoming more comfortable, it's typically off for students. But right now, our focus is really on how educators can use it. And of course, we'll go into some of the creativity tools in Canva too. So we're going to dive into how you can use Magic Write in the classroom. And this is where I'm going to exit the presentation. I'm going to hop to the next tab. And this is where I have a creative space where I'm going to do quite a bit of demoing. So if people have questions along the way, feel free to ask those too. What I have here in this resource, and I will showcase that right away on the front page, I'm actually going to click present on this so you can see that I do have a hyperlink right into this resource. It's going to take us to the Canva Teachers Resource site. When I click this and it opens, you're going to find that Canva for Education has a teacher site, and this is educator specific. You're going to find in here that you do have a self-paced course, Magic Studio with all types of short tips and tutorials, and more. We also have student resources. So if you have any concern about getting students started, the good news is that on top of a teacher course, there is a design skills for student course and lots of student lessons. If after this time together today, you're like, wow, all those ideas, I can't wait to give it a try, I'm going to show you a couple places you can go. If you scroll down in the site, you will see the Magic Studio. And then if you come down below, you'll also find all kinds of Magic teacher guides that connect to everything I'm going to share today. What's beautiful about these, if I open it, you're going to be able to see, let's see. We'll come back to that maybe in a bit. Or maybe it's just linked here. Here it is. Okay, so when I look here, it's going to have the steps. We can highlight the text. We can even come into tap Magic Write, and I'm going to walk you through these, but I love how it's going to even give you options for your actions and then ways to use Magic Write. So you'll be able to copy and paste different components. And then what's really great is that you're going to have all types of cheat sheets available too. Sometimes if AI is new to us, we're like, where do we start? So the good news is that we have everything right at your fingertips for you. So Canva is pretty incredible about sharing all of those. So just know that we do have that linked and available. When I come into this page here, you're also going to see that on this first page, I can come in and open this page, and this one says generate teaching ideas with Magic Write. If I come to this next one, it's create lesson plans with Magic Write. My third one, create lesson presentations. And my fourth, I've got create learning materials with Magic Write. I'm not going to demo each one of these, but I will show you if I click on one of them, what's here is it is connected to a resource page where educators can copy and paste any of the prompts, or it might just inspire ideas of their own. So when we look here at this one where we have Magic Write prompts to generate teaching ideas, this is where you will have ideas for pedagogical approaches, student engagement, and assessment. Notice that you could come right in here and even highlight one to copy and paste. And this one says, list ways I can use technologies to create more accessible learning experiences for grade, number, and subject. So it's great that you can easily copy and paste. And as I mentioned on these other pages, right in here, you are going to have other cheat sheets, so to speak, that will take you to other prompts. So again, these are available on that teacher resource site. So what I'm going to do is I actually have some that are holiday themed. So I'm going to play with these ones just so you get a feel for it. And I have these ones pre-created just so I don't have to take time typing during the session. But I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And I'll tell you what it is in just a second. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my Canva assistant. So we can get to Magic Write, again, in any product in Canva. If you're wondering about those products in the home page and the visual suite, that's going to be here. This is really where we come to bring learning to life. Remember, Magic Write is available in any of the products. But in this one here, you can use Magic Write within anything. I can always click / on my keyboard, and it's going to open Magic Write right here, the options, so then I can click. My other opportunity to access it is by coming down here, and I can always click the Canva Assistant and click Magic Write. A lot of people don't realize that exists down there. It's kind of hidden. Some people are like, oh, I always wondered what it was. So just know that in Canva, you can always click. If you see the 3 dots or any beautiful little sparkly icons, just click and explore. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and paste my prompt in here. And I have create 10 activities for students that focus on winter-themed STEM challenges using a variety of hands-on materials that are commonly found in the classroom. One thing I've left off is a grade level. I used to teach 4th grade. I taught a couple of different grade levels, but I'm going to go 4th grade classroom. I'm going to go ahead and click generate. And in a matter of seconds, we're going to get a response here. As an educator, instead of searching on the internet, I can always think about what are these 10 activities. I could even go back and I could say, create 10 activities using these 5 items, right? Like maybe I only have popsicle sticks and cotton balls. Maybe there's only certain resources I have, so I could do that too. At first glance, this might look a little tiny. The good news is you can always increase the font size up here at the top. And I'm just going to readjust a bit here. So I'm not going to read everything to you. You can always read them to yourself, but I will read a couple of these. And it's fun because I've played with this a couple times today, and each time they are a little bit different. So I have everything from build a snowman out of marshmallows and toothpicks and measure the height and circumference of your creation. Now, if something like a circumference, if that's a skill that we haven't taught yet, or maybe measuring, we could always edit that, right? Like, so we could think about what is the content that we've done so far this school year and then incorporate that. So you've got quite a few other options in here. This is kind of cool too, like make a winter-themed lava lamp using oil, water, and food coloring to investigate the properties of density and buoyancy. So again, that might be, we did some of that in our 2nd grade. When I taught 2nd grade, we did all types of things with transparency and opaque types of liquids. So you might be able to pick and choose what's going to be appropriate. But again, you can make any customizations here. So if I click here, you're also going to see up at the very top, we do have the option to select Magic Write. By clicking this, you're going to see I have additional options. I can continue writing. I can summarize. I could also rewrite. And of course, Canva is going to put a wonderful spin of let's make it more fun, more formal, or better yet, sprinkle fairy dust. So you've got a little bit of everything. If you want to see what the sprinkle fairy dust is, I'll give you I'll take one and do it just so it does, so we have space. I worked with a district this morning and they're like, let's see, I want to see what that looks like. So I'll give it a go. So I'm going to sprinkle fairy dust. I decided just to do this one for the sake of time. So you can see it now has a couple pieces, like just some fun elements to it, like capture its enchanting essence. So that's kind of fun as well. Yeah, I agree. So I'm looking at the chat. Sprinkling fairy dust is everything. So it is kind of fun to play with. Sometimes there's even more, there we go. There's even more pizzazz. So again, if you're not pleased with that first response, go ahead and click it again. That's one thing I always encourage. So now we have embark on a delightful journey of creation, wielding nothing but toothpicks and marshmallows to sculpt a snowman. This is kind of neat, even if you thought about taking this and having students make sense of it. Now they're having to think about some words like wielding might not be a word that's commonly found in some of our students' vocabulary. So even whimsy, it might not be something they're using quite a bit. So, you know, there's quite a few different lessons that could come from this. So let's go back. I'm also going to come into this one and let's go ahead and we're going to, so I'm adding quite a few blank pages just so I have some space to create. But let's go into how we can make modifications. So I'm going to go ahead. This one is, let's go back and do that one more time. All right, I'm going to slow down on that one. So now I'm going to create a list of items that are needed for a holiday party for students, including a variety of treats, healthy options, and paper products. Now, the first time I looked at this, if you notice, it almost came up like a short paragraph. So I am going to add a bulleted list of items. I'm now going to click generate. And we got kind of a brief list, right? Maybe we need more. And they are kind of listed out, but maybe now we want to go ahead and expand. Let's see what more we can generate. So this is a lot of fun for you to play with. Just know that this technology is ever evolving. And even at the conference I was just at, they were talking, one of the keynote speakers was talking about how quickly AI is developing. And there really are so many amazing benefits of it when we know how to utilize it correctly. So let's see. Here are a few. Oh, I like that they even gave us here. We have a few additional ideas to help make your event a success. We can consider dietary restrictions or allergies. So it really is giving us some tips on what to think about. So just know that you can continue playing and refining. I also like this one too. I'll do one more where you can come in and even have it draft an email. Again, I wouldn't necessarily have it copy and paste it into an email to families, but I might use it as my first draft, kind of my launching point. So here it is kind of a basic one. I'm going to actually go right away to expand so we can get a little bit more, although maybe shorter is better to make sure people are tuning in. But it's nice that we can share this information with families. I'm going to bring this up just a bit. And let's increase our font. Now I'm in a presentation, so I could always move this into a different document just so it fits. I'm making this into a presentation document, so that's why it's going to look a little bit shorter or longer than the slide, I suppose I should say. But now we have an appropriate email to families. We have items that we need. And again, we can always edit this. We can come in and change, and actually has a second version down below. So that's our rewrite. And then it does have where you can insert your date and more. So I just love the possibilities of utilizing this within your classroom and really within any role. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those ones. And so just know that there are so many ways when it comes to really when we're thinking about content though, just know that within Canva, you can also use Magic AI to personalize learning. So remember that from the homepage of Canva, under your projects tab on the left-hand side, this is where you can always go to add new resources. So if you are coming here to add new, you can create a folder. You can even create an entire lesson set to be shared with students of resources. But what I love is that you can upload anything from your device. You can also import from your Google Drive or OneDrive. What's amazing about that is now you can renovate the teaching materials that you already have. I know you educators already have amazing resources already created. So just know you don't have to recreate the wheel here in Canva. You can really just come in, renovate your materials, and update everything. And so what's beautiful is that you can always be able to take anything in here and then save it to a folder and remix it for later. So we'll come back over here. And this is where, like, even if you have, maybe you have multi-step word problems and you're like, hey, this isn't really fitting for my students, copy and paste it in here, use Magic Write and personalize it to your own group. You can even differentiate it and more. Additionally, you can streamline communication, starting with the prompt, you can modify and more too. All right, we're going to dive into some other Magic features. If you have specific questions on Magic Write, feel free to share those here. Otherwise, we're just going to keep rolling. A couple other pieces. We do have Magic Switch. This is one of my, I'm going to pause there. I have so many favorite features in Canva, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is one of my favorite features in Canva. I do have a lot. I'm sure you guys do too. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to Canva. I'm going to my homepage, and I'm going to bring up a very quick geometry. And I'm going to bring up a geometry presentation. I'm going to show you why. I'm going to go ahead into properties of a shape. I'm going to click customize. And again, in Canva, what's beautiful is that you can always search by grade level. You can search by subject area, resource type. So, you know, even if something says 5th grade, you can modify this for your 4th graders, your 3rd graders, and more. We know that students are learning shapes from the ground up, so you can always make those adjustments, which is what's really lovely. But here in Canva, what we're going to hit on is our tab up here called Magic Switch. This is pretty amazing. If you're connected with me on Instagram, I just recently created an Instagram reel that walks you through this very thing. What I can do here are a couple of things. I can always click translate. So I can translate to any language that I want, which is beautiful. We know that we have students who might not be reading English, right? So we might need to communicate to them. We might need to communicate to our families. And of course, our students can use it in all different ways too. You can also come down here and you can resize to anything. So if you're an educator or let's say you're an administrator and you are thinking, hey, I've got this entire presentation, but I want some of this information, maybe even just slide 5, I want as an Instagram post, or maybe I want it as something like a Facebook post that also goes out. You can resize your creation to anything so you have multiple copies of the same content, which is pretty amazing. But what I'm going to show you here is the fact that you can transform into a doc. When I click this, look what's hidden below. And this is, again, all utilizing the power of Magic AI within Canva. But this is where I can come through. And if I want to turn this into a blog post or a poem, maybe I want to make my entire slideshow into an email. So think about that. Like, think about how many times we do a presentation. We're like, I need to follow up in an email this content. Maybe I don't want to share the entire presentation and we want it more concise. That's a great option. But what I'm going to show you here are the song lyrics. So this is great. We know that this is a great tool for music teachers. This is a great tool for classroom educators, anybody who is looking to just create novel experiences. We know that the brain can learn when things are different. We can shift short-term memory to long-term memory in creative ways. So check this out. Right now, Canva is doing its work. It is taking all of the content of, let's see how many slides do we have here, all the content from 11 slides, and it's reading it using Canva's AI, and it's going to develop a song for us. So we're going to wait just a second as it thinks. It is pretty magical, so hold tight. Maybe it's a little suspenseful, but it's coming, I promise. In the meantime, if there are any comments, questions, feel free to share those too. Otherwise, we'll just take a little pause here for a second, and here it is. We're going to open this up. It's funny because earlier I did a similar one, but it wasn't country. So you will get different responses. Again, if you don't like the response, go back and do it again, okay? It'll keep generating different content using your content. So are you guys ready? We're going to sing 3, 2, 1. All right. Maybe another time. But you'll have to get your country music going. But we've got triangles, oh, triangles. We're going to classify scalene, isosceles, and equilateral. Ain't shy. Whew, you've really got a mouthful. So it's amazing how quickly Canva can transform any of the content within those slides and turn it right into a song. You've got your verse, your chorus, your bridge, and more. If only I had a voice, right? Because then I could say, look out, Taylor Swift. I have all of my own song lyrics right here. But unfortunately, I probably can't quite rival that. But the cool thing is that this is a great way for educators to really get creative with their teaching content. You can take anything and make it into a song. You don't want it to be country, you want it to be hip hop instead. I would give it a try to rap, probably not live on camera, but I always love a good time like that. So you can always come in and even have students work in groups to come up with what would their section, what would their verse or chorus sound like? And then they could even perform. So there are so many possibilities here to get creative in the classroom. All right, that's a little bit about Magic Switch. You got a lot of options under there. And we are now diving into the Canva AI image generator. Within Canva, you can always generate AI images. So just so we can differentiate a bit, within Canva, we always have our homepage. Again, this is where we come to bring learning to life. You've got the complete visual suite. You can go to projects over on the sidebar where you can get your folders. You can always come to your templates. I'll actually showcase one thing real quick. But over here, this is where you will find our new ready to teach lesson sets. These are really exciting. Again, you're going to have a complete set of lessons here at your fingertips, presentation, worksheet, graphic organizer, and more. And you can customize this and share with students. You can download and print or share it electronically. So that's a whole nother thing. I just wanted to show that. But this is also where you can search by subject, grade level, and resource type as well. So that's kind of the home page when we're going back to that piece. And when we're here in Canva, this is our editor. This is really where we're going to come in and make the design, just like as I've been showing you this whole time. Over on the sidebar, this is where you can access all of your great tools. But if we're going to go specifically to the AI image generator, we are going to find that under Elements. You can also find Magic Studio under your apps. So essentially, this is Magic Studio. But when I come under my Elements, this is just typically where I come to access my AI image generator. And the reason I utilize this is because under our Elements, this is, if I click here in the search, this is where you'll find your shapes, your graphics, and more, all of the categories. So when I come in here to my AI image generator, I can, of course, generate anything I imagine. In fact, you can see what I was playing with before we started this session. So I've been actually playing with this prompt quite a bit the last few days. And so what I have here and what I've added to my slide is the progression over probably the last 4 days. And I've been saving my favorite ones. So what I started with, just to give you an idea of the AI, is that I started with, I wanted a Pixar style cartoon girl snowman. Maybe I should have put snow woman, but that's just what I used. And I said in a village with Christmas lights. So you can see in this very first one here, notice that, you know, there are lights, but to me, they weren't those colorful lights like I was envisioning. So I continued to work with the AI. I continued to add my prompts in here. And whenever you type in a prompt here into the box, and you can see I was pretty specific. I mean, I really push it to see what I can get. And then when you come down here, you can also come into your styles. Like if I wanted to change up the style to a photo or neon, playful, the 3D ones are pretty cute. I really like these watercolor ones. They come out just like a colorful storybook illustration. But for this use case, I ended up using concept art. The concept art by nature tends to have like some of those brown and tan tones. So I did have to continue to ask for the coloring that I wanted. But you can see here what we have. We've got our one character, and I almost feel like the village continues to improve from this one to when we look at this one here. We've got just more detail on the houses. And then when I come here, this is where I started, you know, being more specific with the lights in the background. So you can see what that looks like in there. I really like that one. And then I like that it even gave me an option of like what looks like a child, but kind of that cartoon style in here too. So that was pretty cool. There's still a snowman in the background. And then we have this one here. So I've played with this quite a few times. You can see each time it'll give you 4 options. So you can always test that out by plugging in anything you want. So again, I'm going to my AI image generator right here in Canva, and you can always type in any response that you'd like. When you do that and it generates the 4 images, if you're not happy, you can click generate again, or you can go back and refine. So that refine and edit is kind of a theme that we're seeing across any use cases here. When you generate images, just know that they will continue to live in your uploads. So you can see I have a lot of images, some that I didn't select to use, but I have quite a few options that live over here if I wanted to swap them out. So you can see I played quite a bit. But now from here, we're going to go into some of our other tools. And I think I'm going to grab this one for now. Yeah, let's use that one. And what we're going to do is I'm actually going to use this image through quite a bit of the demo, just so you can see how we can take an AI image and continue to make adjustments to it however we would like. Now, this is really cool for students to create also. Remember that under the elements, you do have millions of high quality, everything from photos, shapes, stickers, videos, and more, and 89,000 audio files. However, you still might not generate a snow person in a snow village with Christmas lights in the background. So just know that that's why that is there and how useful that can be. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click to select my image. I'm going to go up to edit photo. And you're going to see my Magic Studio will open. Within here, I can now go to my Magic Eraser. So you can see on this page, I have Magic Eraser. Most of the time I'll go in order. There might be 1 or 2 that I go out of order, but let's say in this case, I just want to remove this rock that's here. I'm just going to go right over it. And typically it will remove 100%. Once in a while, I need to go back over. I may have, not done enough, or could be something with the background colors. So sometimes I go over it again. But honestly, I'd rather it remove a little bit than too much, right? So now I've removed that rock. I can continue going around my photo. I've seen this used beautifully in the classroom setting. Recently, I was with a preschool teacher. She had taken beautiful pictures of students engaging in a classroom project, but there was a stack of papers on a desk nearby. She wanted to share that out to the community, but she was like, oh, I don't like the papers. And it wasn't in a place you could crop it naturally. So that's exactly what we did. We just used Magic Edit and it was gone. So, or Magic Eraser, sorry. I was thinking on to the next one already. So now we're going to go into Magic Edit. Within Magic Edit, I'm going to click on Edit Photo again. So up at the top, and now I have the option for Magic Edit. Now, what's nice about this is that now you could replace anything in the background, or really in the foreground too. But what I'm going to do is I can brush over any area and replace it with whatever I would like. So in this case, maybe right here, I just want to remove this section here. And I'm just going to put in, maybe you can guess by the shape of what I'm doing. Earlier, I did a snow globe in the background. I'm going to try this one. I haven't tried this yet, but I just think it would be pretty cool if there was like, a tree in the village that we could have just strung with lights, but we'll see. Typically with Magic Edit, I do come in and remove an object to replace it. So I think that was my own bad here. So I was trying to see if it would read in that area, but I need to actually remove a component, I think. So we'll go back and try that again. I just thought I'd give it a try. Just like in the classroom, I would do with students, I would always say, hey, if you're not sure, the best thing you can do is just give something a try, right? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go back over again, and we're going to reset the brushing. And I kind of love these opportunities because they give us a way to be able to explore a little bit more. So I'm going to replace just this table here, and we'll do the snow globe. The tree is going to be kind of a funny fit because of the sizing, so I wasn't sure, but we'll go ahead and let's do a snow globe in this space. Let's give it a whirl. We'll see what it comes up with. That's a great question. If we remove the snowman, will it mess up the picture? I'm going to show you in just a second. So check this out. I now have a snow globe on the side. So, you can be picturing, I have a neighbor who has like all of these inflatables for the holiday season and does them for like all the seasons, whether it's Halloween or Thanksgiving. So it's kind of what it reminds me of, is just, a blow up in the yard. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hit on that with the question that we have in the chat. So I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep copying and moving on down the line here. And I'm now going to go into Magic Grab. Magic Grab is pretty cool. So in Canva, if you don't know already, you can remove the background from anything. So if I wanted to remove this background and put my snowman at the beach, I can do that. By clicking remove background, I can take it off the background, bring in a photo of the beach and put my snowman there. But in this case, what I want to do is just use Magic Grab. I want to keep the background. I'm going to go ahead and click Magic Grab. We're going to let it think for just a moment. But what's going to happen is that the snowman will detach right here. What I love about this is you can see, you can begin exploring, is there something behind it? So earlier today there was like actually like a tree behind it, which was kind of cool. But this is where you can now resize and reposition your snowman anywhere you want in the scene. So that's kind of cool. You can kind of move it wherever you want. But let's keep going with this. We're going to keep on going with the next one. So you can remove it. It's not going to change anything. Now this one can be a little bit unpredictable. Magic Expand, it's really cool. I say it's unpredictable because it depends on your background. Again, I like to kind of test limits and see what I'm going to get. Magic Expand, what this is going to do is it's going to take my background and expand it to whatever I'm choosing to do. In this case, I want to make my background the entire page of my presentation. So I'm going to go up to edit photo again. Again, this is the same AI image that I generated from Canva, and I'm using all of the tools on just this one. So imagine the creative projects you could create in your classroom. So I'm now going to go to Magic Expand, and you can see I want to go to the whole page. The only reason I said it can be unpredictable is because the AI in this case, it does need to be able to read the background and predict what else should take up this space on the outside edging. So that's where, when it's the AI and it's trying to figure out essentially like what goes there, sometimes it's wrong, sometimes it's correct. So let's give it a try. But that's kind of the beauty of AI, is that you can keep working it. You can continue to refine. Sometimes you get a little bit of a laugh out of it too. And that's a great question too. Do you have any tips for eyes, fingers, hands when generating people? That is tricky, even animals. So, even I've done some photos of like dogs on the beach of AI image generating. Typically, if I'm doing them like storybook, depending on what I select for the artwork, they can be really great. And then if I select photo where it looks real, like a real photo, those are the ones that can look a little bit off. So the only thing I could say is to keep regenerating and seeing what you get. That one is actually pretty decent because you could keep working that photo. So remember, even if you get something here that is a little bit wacky, the good news is that you've got elements in Canva you can bring in and then begin to cover up any parts that might be a little unpredictable or maybe not what you were looking for. So that's kind of cute too. So it is, I feel like it's to be totally fair, this is a complex image to read. It's AI image generated to begin with. So this is where, like, see these little sections here, you might just plop a little tree over top of that. So you'll get all types of, that one's adorable, actually. I really like that. Now it looks like framed work. So it is really fun to come in here. Now that Magic Expand, again, I'm using this on an AI image generated photo. This has worked beautifully though. Like, for example, I had a picture of our dogs, grass was in the background, but then there were some other things happening on the sides. Like there were people around, we were having family over for an outdoor picnic. I cropped that and left just the grass. The AI knew to continue to add more grass. So if it was more, like anything that's more simple, it's going to be even better. The cool thing about AI is that it's always improving. And so you just be patient and you'll be able to see all the changes that exist. All right, our next one we have is grab text. This is great too. So let's go down here. Oh, my responses here. I'm going to go to, we'll take this here. So you'll see here that what I have, this might be one that I played with. Let's go ahead. I'll go back real quick. Let's take this one here. Oh, you know what? I know what it is. There's already, because I played on the same slide. All right. So let's go back to that other one. Okay. So this is a PNG file. So that's like a JPEG. It's an image. So everything in here is one solid image right now. I can't pull the text off. I cannot edit anything on here right now. However, by clicking to select, and now if I go up to edit photo, and if I click grab text, what Canva is going to do is it's going to read where the text is. And now I'll be able to edit and change the font, make any necessary changes I want to make. This is great. So of course you may have a PDF of something and that's going to be fully customizable. Any PDFs will already be able to be customized in Canva, but this is nice if you have an image of a resource that you have and you're like, hey, I really need to edit and this is the only copy. This is a great use case for that. So you can always come in and now you can see I can click on the text, I can remove, and I can begin making any of my changes. And again, this is the amazing power of AI in here so that you can make the necessary changes to your designs. Okay, this is also great. There's a lot of greatness in here. I'm actually going to grab my picture back and we're going to jump back. And I'm going to go ahead and go into Magic Alt Text. So we know that accessibility is critical. We need to make sure that everything we are preparing meets the needs of our diverse learners. Here, I have my little snow picture here that's AI image generated to begin with. I can always click more. And if I look down here, you're going to see lots of options here. But one of the options you have is for Alt Text. When I click to select, you'll see here that I can always type in exactly what I want. I'm going to click it again, see if it pops up. There we go. So I must not have fully clicked it, but you could always type in your alt text. But in this case, maybe I'm just in a rush, right? I know as educators in any role, we are always pressed for time. So this is where I can always click suggest for me. And when I click this, the Canva AI is going to read what's on this image. It's going to take away the time that you need to spend thinking about this. However, you certainly can go in and make adjustments. So if I want a capital A snowman is standing in front of a house with Christmas lights. So you can always go through, you can make any adjustments. And if there's something in here, if there's more to this image that's going to help students better understand the content and develop comprehension, then of course you can include that too. Or you can always simply mark as decorative. So if you're like, hey, that's just a decorative image, it doesn't pertain to the learning, you can always mark that. But I love the fact that you can always add anything in so that everything's accessible. On that note, another feature that people oftentimes overlook in Canva is that if you go to File here, you do have the option to view your settings. Within your settings, you will be able to show captions on media, but also down here, you can check your design accessibility. So now in my design here, I'm going to probably have some issues. So the alt text, I have 110 issues, but that's really because I don't have the alt text in here for any of these graphics. It's essentially pulling up that I haven't added. So a lot of these I'd have to mark as decorative, which would be good too. Yeah, it is a game changer for accessibility. Absolutely. I'm reading that in the chat. So yes, it's amazing. So you can always come through and check that out. Lots of great pieces. And Magic Morph. So we can't leave out Magic Morph. This is a great one too. So many great ones. But in Magic Morph, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my apps on the bottom of my sidebar. When I click apps, you will find any available apps for your district. So mine might look different because every district is going to make the best decisions for their staff and students. But just know that in here, you should have access to Magic Morph. You will find this is where you can access your Magic Media, which really is the AI image generator. You can also get to it from Elements, which is what I was doing. But if I come back here, and let's say I want to type in Magic Morph, and we're going to click on Magic Morph. There's a lot of great apps here in Canva, so I would highly recommend exploring. So in this case, I want to go in and I'm going to select an element. And actually, I'm going to go grab an element real quick. Earlier, I had one in here, but I think I had removed it. I'm going to grab a snowflake. We'll just use this one right here. And I'm going to go back to my apps and back to Magic Morph. So now I've selected my element. I know it's selected because I have the purple lines on the outside part. And from here, you can see it's selected. And now I can describe the look. So I'm going to think, what should we do? We've talked about the sprinkling fairy dust. I think it'd be neat if it was like pink and sparkling like the glimmer of snow. So I'm going to play with that for a second. We'll see how that does. Let's test that one. I'm going to click Magic Morph and we'll see what's generated. Once in a while, I've typed something in that maybe my verbiage wasn't something that was going to generate what it wanted to. So sometimes I do, just like with anything else in AI, you might need to refine and edit. So we'll see what it does. I'm pretty pleased with these so far. These are beautiful. But what's cool about this is that if you like an element like this, of course in Canva, before I go on, you can always click the color cube and you can determine what color you want this. You can also turn it into a gradient. You can play with the gradients. But I love the fact that if I search my element library, chances are I'm not going to find this exact element. So this really levels up now what we can create. So I took my basic snowflake over here. And again, if I wanted to, I could come up to the top. I can change it to any color I want, or I could go down. You're going to find all types of options, but I wouldn't be able to make it glittery, sparkly. Some of these are kind of like a gradient. I really like those. I actually really like that one too. But it's cool because you can now create multiple elements that you would like to be able to use in a design. So pretty awesome. All right, before we wrap up, we've got one more, and that's Magic Animate. A lot of people know that in Canva, you can animate a page. But here's what most people are aware of, is that I can always come to my page, and up at the top when I click it, I have an Animate tab. On that note, if you open a template that has pre-built animations, you won't see Animate. It'll actually say the word Custom. So just a heads up, if you ever open something and you're like, where's the Animate tab? If you see the word Custom, just click it, remove the current animation, and add your own. So they're all fully customizable. I'm going to go ahead and click Animate. Underneath here, you'll see that if I want to animate everything on the page, I can. This is great. This is more so like if I'm doing a presentation, right? Like you might want those effects. I've seen kids have a lot of great presentations with using these animations. But what I want right now in this case is I just want to animate a singular snowman. So I'm going to click my snowman. Here's a good example. You can see that this says custom at the top, but if I hover, it still says animate. So I'm going to go right ahead. I'm actually going to, whoops, go back. I'm going to delete the animation that's currently there. And what I'm going to do is create an animation with this guy. So I'm actually going to start him up here in the trees. Now I'm going to click animate. And here where I see the bee, I'm going to click create an animation. Canva will provide this little tutorial, little demo for me. And now maybe I want my snowman just kind of sliding down the hill. So that was pretty easy. The other ones have animations I was playing with earlier, so I'll let them be. But now you can see that this whole scene, if I go up to present, you'll be able to see all of this interact. I have seen some magnificent creations by children who are creating presentations like this, even book reviews, narratives, and more. So you can continue building on. And what's cool is if you're creating like an entire story in here, you can always duplicate the page, remove these animations, and build new ones. So that way, if you want to use the Canva video, you could be able to go whole pages and have lots of interactions. The last thing, this isn't necessarily Canva AI, but let's say I'm doing something like this with students. Remember that under uploads, you can always go to the record yourself. This will open to a recording studio where students can add their own recording in here. You'll see my icon is up right now, but if I were not also using Zoom, you'd see me just like you do in Zoom. And what's really cool is that this is a great feature, not just to narrate a story. I'll say my 19-year-old in college, he's using this for Spanish. Being able to speak and be able to provide resources back to his teacher to demonstrate his fluency. We know music teachers are using this for singing. People can use this in so many different ways. And of course, educators are using this for tutorials and mini lessons, or even if a substitute is in their classroom. So that's a great feature. And the other thing is, if you're looking for other recording options, if you go to present and record, this option will also bring you to a recording studio, but this option will also provide you with an audio only. So any of my recordings will live, these are those little icons, and those are previous demos I've done, and you can see that they'll live under the videos, but if I do any audio under present and record, they're gonna live down here. So you do have a couple of options. All right, I have a minute for if there are any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to be going into a brief wrap up.
You know, in 1 second if we see any questions.
Not a problem, but I'll tell you, there is so much, and we've done this, like we're about an hour in, but there is so much you can do with Canva, Melissa. Just so many different opportunities and I know all of you at Atlanta Public Schools, you guys are always inspiring me with what you come up with.
It was so much fun and so much goodness that it does not feel like an hour, Liz.
I know it goes so quickly, and it is a lot of fun. And I have fun like changing up the themes because it keeps it all fresh. All right, I'm going to go through a little quick wrap up here. And I'd love to invite you to join our community. Our Facebook community is growing by, on average, 700 educators per day, which is amazing. It's a great community where educators are sharing resources, asking questions, and of course, community managers are sharing quick tips and more. So you can always join our global Facebook community. Additionally, you can connect with us on Twitter, X. That needs to be switched up a bit there. But if you go on to Twitter, also now known as X, you can always go to Canva EDU, and that's where education-specific Canva ideas, resources, tips, and tricks are shared. On all other social channels, you will find @Canva. Remember, Canva is used widely around the world in all industries, so you're going to find all types of tips and tricks out there in general with Canva. And then if you're looking for education-specific, hop on over to X. And you'll see that we do love to just highlight all of the amazing work that educators are doing. This isn't one, but I know we have one in one of our slide decks of Atlanta Public Schools. So it is fun to be able to pull those, and we switch those out every so often. And then, of course, we just want you to know we do have dedicated resources. So linked here, and we'll make sure that you have this available for your district, that you will have any tips on using Magic Write, Magic Design to create presentation, using the Canva Assistant, and even our AI privacy terms, you'll be able to access those. That educator resource site that I shared, you can also click and explore all of our tutorials, self-paced course, student resources, and more. Remember, this is also where you'll find our keyboard shortcuts and any of our mini tips when it comes to any of the magic tools that I hit on today. And that's great because especially if you are a tech integration specialist that's tuning in right now, that's a great way that you could just take one of those and highlight. We know that educators, like you can have a whole site of great resources, but it's a lot to look through for some. So highlighting one thing at a time can also be really beneficial. For anybody who joined us and you're like, wow, look at all that Canva can do. I need to back up. We've got you covered. You've got the self-paced course with 11 lessons right at your fingertips. And of course, if anybody, now Atlanta Public Schools, you don't need this, you have Canva, but if anybody were to be joining us today and you do not have Canva for Education for your district, you can always sign up your entire school district. Again, they'll work with you on your privacy agreements and more. So we just can't wait to see what you and your students create. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Liz, on behalf of Atlanta Public Schools, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. This was delightful. And if you're watching today or in the future, know that Liz will be back in spring of 2024 for more fun with Canva. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your night.